Good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming. Just to let you know, we are streaming live right now. As you can see, we're playing a CCTV video behind in relation to an assault that occurred outside of Pierre's Champagne Lounge just prior to a year ago. Vancouver Police today are releasing a video of an assault that took place last March in Yaletown. We're asking for the public's help to identify the suspects involved. At about 2 a.m. on March 31st, 2018, staff at Pierre's Champagne Lounge called 911 to report that a fight had just occurred and a male was unconscious. Officers arrived minutes later, but the suspects had already fled. The officers located two alleged victims. One victim had minor injuries. However, the second victim, a 28-year-old man from Burnaby, was transported to hospital with serious head injuries. As you can see from the video, this is a serious and disturbing assault, which the victim continues to deal with life-changing injuries. Our detectives have been working behind the scenes to identify the suspects. We're now reaching out to the public and asking for help. We want to talk to all people involved and get their version of what happened. Anyone with information about the men in the video or about the incident are asked to call detectives at 604-717-2541, or you can call Crime Stoppers if you wish to remain anonymous at 1-800-222-8477. Now open up to any questions you may have about this video.
Why have you waited almost a year to release this?
Well, our officers and our detectives have been working quite diligently behind the scenes to try and identify who was involved. There were some investigative steps that were necessary that we needed to take before releasing this. So we're now going to the public and asking the public for help to identify the suspects involved in this serious assault.
But in other cases, I mean, I'm thinking of a New Year's Eve assault in Toronto. I mean, the police held a presser the next day while people's memory is really fresh. I mean, a year later, isn't that going to impact the investigation?
Well, the investigation's been underway the whole time, and there were investigative steps necessary in this investigation. Going to the media is an investigative step, whether or not we choose to release that in the first instance or later on in the investigation. In this case, we're releasing it today in the hopes that we are able to identify the two individuals that are in the video here. It's quite good video, and it's actually very disturbing to watch. I describe this as a serious sucker punch when the victim was unaware it was coming, and there were some serious injuries involved here. These are life-altering injuries to the victim.
It is really good video. I'm just wondering, can you, I know you explained it a little bit, but can you go into a little bit more about the balance that police officers go through during an investigation of, you know, when to release it and when not to release it?
When we release a media release to the media, or if we don't at all during the course of any investigation, it's a strategic plan that's made by the detectives that are in charge of it. Sometimes releasing video or releasing any information to the media during an ongoing investigation could actually hinder it, but going to the public when we can is today, and we are asking for the public's help to identify the suspects involved in this case.
So it sounds like you've hit a dead end then, and this is just what you have to do to try to find these people.
Yeah, we're asking for the public's help, and we've conducted extensive searches behind the scenes. Our officers have been working, our detectives have been working diligently to try and identify the people involved, and now we're asking for help.
Are they connected to that limo or not? Anyone?
I don't believe there's a connection to the vehicle behind them. What I can tell you is that the two suspects we're looking for, we believe that they are associated to each other. And the two victims, and I say two because there was another minor assault that occurred just after the serious assault, that the two victims were associated and were friends.
What more can you tell us about the main victim's injuries?
I can just tell you that we're considering them life-changing injuries, and the victim is still dealing with the effects of the assault that happened almost a year ago.
Are we talking concussion or?
It's still an active investigation. I'm not going to get into the injuries, other words to say that they were serious head injuries.
Did the victims and the suspects know each other prior to this incident or not?
I don't believe so. Yeah, so this was an altercation that started inside the lounge just moments before. It ended out on the street, which we see now here in the video. As you can see, the second individual here. This is the main suspect, but we have the second individual afterwards leans over the unconscious victim with a cell phone, presumably to take photos of him, and he's still gesturing, still quite angry before they fled. So we're really anxious to identify these two suspects.
Are they bouncers or who are the other individuals?
I don't have that information exactly who's there. We do know that we were called by staff from Pierre's Lounge about this incident, and we attended moments after.
Is this part of Bar Watch or Restaurant Watch? Are they affiliated?
I don't know if Pierre's is on it. You'd have to reach out to Bar Watch. It is possible that they are.
What kind of charges are possible in a case like this?
In a case like this, our officers and our detectives are going to be looking at assault causing bodily harm, probably at the very least. Depending on the extent of the injuries, it could be aggravated assault.
Why has it been so hard to find him? I mean, you have a pretty good video of the suspect. You would think that it would be way easier to find him now that you have that evidence. Why it's been so long and you still have it?
I'm not sure, but we are reaching out today to ask for the public's help. And I'm sure investigators thought the same, that this might be an easier case to solve originally, and have exhausted a lot of investigative leads. And like I said prior, we don't always want to release things to the media unless we have to, and it's an investigative strategy whether or not we choose to do it. So in this case, we're coming out here today, we're asking for the public's help, and we need to identify these two. This is a very serious assault.
I guess in a case like this where the charges could be quite serious, are you urging these two people to turn themselves in now that their faces are all over the place? I mean, would that be kind of step one?
Yeah, step one, we're asking anybody that may have information about this, including the two people on the video. If this is you, please call us. I'll give you the number to call detectives again. It's 604-717-2541, and call our investigators.
And his hat, you weren't able to identify the hat at all, what he was wearing?
No, now we're just describing it as almost a light green colored baseball hat. And obviously you can see the Adidas tracksuit jacket on top with white runners, darker jeans. And you can see the other individual that's leaning over the victim afterwards. And he's unconscious and he's quite injured.
Do you know how long the victim was hospitalized as a result?
That's still part of the investigation, but these were serious injuries. Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
We're just going to pause it here and then we'll open up to any unrelated questions.